Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Beer Necessities.
What he said.
Exactly what he said. My name's Bill Pratt.
Diesel, Dale Hansen.
Corbin Atkinson.
We're excited for you to join us again. We come at you with good tidings and good beers. If you have watched any of our previous episodes, you'll know that we are 3 friends who just love to drink good beer, talk about good beer, and eat. So we're going to be doing all 3 of those things today and more.
Yes!
So welcome to episode 4 of the Beer Necessities. Quick recap of episode 3. We ventured to 8th State, which we're in, South Carolina, and got to do a vertical of Broom. We had Broom from 2022, Broom from 2023, and Barrel Aged Broom. Barrel Aged Broom blew everybody's socks off. Fantastic, fantastic beer. I think so far probably the best one we've done in the 3 episodes. At least right there with Anchorage from episode 1. Any thoughts on episode 3?
I think it was just very fun. The flavors were just so diverse. Like just from the 3, you could easily tell each one and the differences. But that barrel age was just fantastic. Loved it.
Definitely paid off in terms of keeping that old bottle Broom to compare to. Anytime you cellar or hold something, you always run into that risk of it not tasting good at all or not being as good as you remember it. So you always get an extra one so you can kind of lessen the amount of gambling you're doing. But that was really good. It was really nice to, compare the tasting notes between them all, and definitely still a huge fan of all of them.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Ube is a very interesting adjunct and something that I hope to see more people using.
Sure.
I actually saw somebody put it onto a website that there was a restaurant starting to use ube more, and I'm like, I never knew about this thing until we had that beer last time.
It's gonna be like there's a term for it, but once you see something, how you just don't stop saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with that.
Oh, as good as it was. Yeah.
Amazing.
Great. So now we're going to actually introduce a new segment, and we're calling it Babs, our recent Babs, badass beers. Kind of a tendency to travel a little bit for work, for vacations, what have you. We're always on the lookout for good beers. So since episode 3, I've got to have a few. Corbin, how about you? What are your Babs, recent Babs?
Yeah, so I've been on the road last few weeks actually, and so I've gotten to go to a few favorite breweries as well as some new ones. A new brewery that I found, Dallas, Texas, Celestial Beer Works. They had a great selection, a lot of really good IPAs, and I went there specifically for the IPAs to show you all that I love IPAs just as much as other people, despite previous episodes. And honestly, I kind of got messed up because they had so many delicious sounding sours on tap that I ended up drinking all the sours before I got to the IPAs, and then I felt bad, so I got some IPAs to go. But speaking of ube, they had a amazing ube sour on hand. It had amazing graham cracker taste and everything. It was so good. Definitely grabbed some cans of that to go. Looking forward to trying that later. But that was definitely the highlight of my trip to Texas. At Jackie O's a couple times while I was up north, and always love Jackie O's. They always have great stuff. So
Jackie O's and Celestial coming to a podcast soon. How about you, Papa Dale?
I got surprised recently with a beer out of Orlando. My wife's cousin brought it up to me as just a nice little surprise, but it was called Seeker in the Dark. It was from Tactical Brewing and a collaboration with Cerebral Brewing. Very tasty, barrel-aged stout, had nice little caramel flavor, and a nice use of star anise to give it a little bit of that licorice flavor. I actually shared it with you guys, but I really enjoyed that one, and that one's actually kind of stuck in. I've kind of started trying to look around a little bit, see if I can get some more of that, because it was a good little segue into those flavors. I mean, I don't want to go crazy licorice, like Jägermeister, but, it was a good taster. So I'm actually excited because I finally get to do some traveling here soon. I'm going to be visiting Richmond and the DC area. So Vale, Answer, Hardywood, everyone, I'm coming. Be ready.
Awesome.
And don't forget your friends.
No.
I had done some traveling as well. More recently stopped at Heist Brewery up in Charlotte. One of my favorites when we were living up there. I was a regular. They were always kind of lacking in their barrel age offerings for years. It was just kind of a kink in their armor. But they brought in a new brewer and a new cellar master, and they have ramped up their game. They have taken it to a new level. Frightening Comfort was one that I picked up while I was out there. Blend of Weller Old Fitzgerald barrels, conditioned on nearly 40 pounds of cream-filled sandwiches, vanilla, Java chips, chocolate hazelnut. It blew me away. It literally blew me away. I would put it up against anything that we've had in these podcasts so far. Was just very, very surprised and very, very pleased. Bourbon County Eagle Rare 2-year reserve. Had that for a while, cracked it open. As the name suggests, it was aged 2 years in extraordinary Eagle Rare 10-year barrels. I ranked it a 4.45 on Untapped. One of the better BCS variants I had in a long time. One of our local breweries here to the Hilton Head, Bluffton area here in the Low Country, Lincoln and South, had still hunkered down on nitro. Really, really surprised at how the nitro really brought out the creaminess, made it creamy. It really pushed up the enjoyment a notch. 17.5%. I know you had it, Corbin, and you liked it as well.
Yeah, for sure. I had it the other day, and I've definitely been very lucky to try a lot of different versions of Still Hunkered Down. And sometimes nitro kind of, I don't know, the smoothness or, kind of takes away from a beer if it doesn't have enough of its own, potentness, I guess.
It can pull the flavor away.
And I was kind of worried to have it on nitro. Not that the beer isn't potent and delicious, but I was kind of, there's not any crazy adjuncts or anything like that. So I was curious to see what it was going to be like. And it was amazing. It was a very good beer. The guys at Lincoln and South know what they're doing, and we're very lucky to have them here locally.
Third anniversary is coming up in July, so we're excited for that and to see what they pull out for that. Good job.
I heard there's more dark beer.
Yeah.
Second
Like
anniversary was very limited.
Yeah. Good times.
They know what we like.
Exactly. My last bab was a Monkish Future Sea Millennium, a triple IPA at 10.3% with a 4.47 rating on Untapped. Triple dry hop with Mosaic, Citra, and Galaxy. It was delicious. I mean, it was gorgeous color, creamy, fruity, and downright delightful. So definitely some great babs that we look forward to talking about and finding more in the near future. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We've talked about this before, being beer guys, being food guys. Three of us, love to cook, as well as barbecue, smoke, all of us smokers. So we thought we would do a food pairing episode to go along with a couple of the beers that we are going to try today. So the first beer that we're going to have here is Jackie O's Cellar Cuvée 15, as you can see here in the camera, Cuvée 15. Corbin, what exactly is a cuvée?
So for me, cuvée in the beer world is just a blend of usually different styles, but it can be a blend of the same style. But I see a lot of barley wine and imperial stout cuvées and things like that. But in general sense, it's a blend of something. And I know in the wine world, it's got more specific things, but I'm not a big on the wine, so I'll leave the technicalities to the people who care about them. For me, it just means extra special beer. So
extra flavor.
Absolutely. So Jackie O's Cellar Cuvée 15 is a barley wine stout blend, 14.7%, 350 milliliter bottle with a 4.46 Untapped rating. It is a blend of a honey stout and maple barley wine style ales aged in select bourbon barrels and gracefully blurs the line between these revered styles. It is 42% maple barley wine and 58% honey stout. So to go along with this cuvee, Papa Dale has brought us little plates, little tapas. What exactly did you make for us today?
Little something just to kind of try to pull out all the flavors. So what I did here was I put together 4 different little things to try. I'm a big fan of cheese with my beers. I like my meats, my sausages, trying to mix everything up. But what I did just to try to pull the flavor out of here, reading about this cuvee, the flavors, the chocolate cake notes, the caramel, the marshmallow, the maple, the honey, all those things. And you don't want to try to overpower the beer with the food. But you're trying to accentuate it, and different flavors can do that. So what I do have is I've got 2 different cheeses here. One is this one here is the Westminster Rustic Red Cheddar from Westminster, England. It's got a nice nutty flavor, a good potent cheddar. I think it's going to really kind of accentuate a little bit. This is the Sartori Espresso Bellavito cheddar. This is going to give us more of the coffee notes it's a very light coffee, but the bark on the outside is going to give it a little pull to kind of accentuate maybe some more of that chocolate cake in there, and pull some of those other flavors up. I then have a sausage ball with pork sausage, cheddar cheese, a little Bisquick pancake powder in there, just to kind of pull the flavor, give it a little salt to accentuate more of the flavors and open that up. And then I have actually another sausage pancake going on with, and this actually other one has spicy sausage in the sausage ball along with hot honey glaze that I put on top of there. But then the pancake muffin is a straight sausage, just a good easy sausage with some homemade pancake batter that I whipped up, put it together just to kind of really suck some of those flavors and open up with just a little bit of sweetness to accentuate in there. I think the honey should pop on there, and some of that maple syrup in the flavor should really kind of accentuate with that pancake.
So yes, this is how we do it. Papa Dale bringing the heat. Man, I am excited for all this.
And we're able to share like what this looks like and our feelings with you, but you can't smell it. And I've been smelling it for a few minutes now. I'm just telling you, it smells amazing.
Oh, my kids were chapped. They're like, "Daddy, where is this going?" Yeah. Not for you boys. They're like, "Going to the podcast? What?"
All right.
I made that extra.
Let's get pouring.
Set this here. You can watch. Gotta love that glug.
Mm-hmm. And listen. Look at that. No head whatsoever, but man, you can smell the barrel right off the bat. Corbin talked about smelling the food. As soon as he popped this, you smell the barrel.
It blew up.
Looks great.
Thank you, sir.
You guys might have noticed we've kind of changed how things look. We're constantly trying to improve what we look like and what we bring to you.
Not just with Botox.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I didn't get on that train.
So yeah, we're just trying new things. If you see something you like more, you don't like a certain change, let us know. It's a work in progress. We have a limited budget that we try to spend mostly on the beer. So you'll see little minor upgrades here and there, sound, lighting, things like that. We're hoping to get to a more professional level, but at the end of the day, we're just 3 dudes drinking great beer and trying to share it with you through the interwebs. So thank you.
Well said. Gentlemen.
Cheers, lads.
Pros to the beer.
Oh, I want some of that. Boom, there you go. Shazam.
Mm. The fun part about going to Jackie is no matter which location, they have so many bottles. Like everything they have is in bottles just ready to go. And so I maybe took like 45 minutes plus just going through things, trying to decide. And their new Columbus tap room is just like shelves of bottles and coolers full of bottles. It's even more visible than their actual brewery location. in Athens, and oh my God, they had to pull out a little book for me with all the prices and stuff so I could see what I could take home.
Heavy barrel
Oh yeah, the barrel
is
wonderfully strong on that bad boy.
punch you in the face.
That this thing really kind of, I get almost like a real good deep red wine-ish flavor out of this thing too. You know, it's really like you get the barrel, but then I'm kind of like, it's like a smooth Pinot Noir almost going on to this bad boy, but it is killer.
When Corbin popped the bottle, I was like, smell wine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually a very good observation.
Well, thank you.
So with the food pairings, where do you think you should start? You obviously have given this a lot of thought.
I would say we should start with some of the cheeses with this.
Okay.
I'm thinking the cheddar would probably be the best one. I'm going to take a little taster of this and just give her a little plop to see what kind of happens in this mix. This is definitely not a mild cheddar, but it's not like overly medium and it's not super sharp.
Everything's better with cheddar.
That's really good, though. Can't say it.
Doesn't make it explode.
No, if anything, maybe it subdued the flavor
Maybe.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I like the barrel, like kind of like a smoother blend, you know, a little less potent.
Not bad.
Probably not need another glass of beer to get through all this stuff.
There's a little more left in there. We'll make do. All right, refresh your memory again. This was Sartori.
This is Sartori's Espresso Bellavito. This is a coffee style cheddar. It's got
Bellavitano.
My apologies.
No.
My apologies.
The Sartori Bellavitano dipped in bourbon. Wow, delicious. One of my favorite cheeses. I love this.
What we got, Corbin? You're not a fan?
No, I love it.
No.
I was just thinking how I really just want to go like buy a bunch of cheese.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
leave my room for a few weeks.
Yep. Friends of mine turned me on to Bellavitano a decade ago, and we used to have it at most of our beer shares, and one of those things you definitely fall in love with.
Well, and they got so many different styles. I mean, you got tomato basil style crusted one. You got the espresso. You got so many wonderful kinds.
The bourbon, you've got it dipped in Merlot, Italian seasoning.
That Merlot one, oh my word, that is probably one of my favorite in theirs.
I really like the Bellavitano with the beer.
I feel it pulled more of the stout out. Honestly, I feel like it kind of like pulled the stout forward a little bit more.
Mhm.
That's what I felt off of there. Like because I took the that coffee edge on there and really kind of popped it up. Yeah, that one did some work. I like that.
Yeah. Some like food critic out there right now being like,
Oh, he's like, I want to punch that.
rookies.
I want to punch that fat guy right in the face. You and your cheese.
It
Get
was
out
the
of-
wrong
get-
order or
Yeah. Does this turkey even know what he's doing? It's like, come on.
you're supposed to put it in your mouth counterclockwise.
Yeah. You swish.
You didn't hold his nose.
Flick and swish.
Fingers up, babies.
We are just humble drinkers and expert eaters.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily in that order.
Never shied away from the dinner table, tell you that.
All right, let me try one of Dale's balls here.
I've always known how much Bill likes his big balls. So these are some big balls. I didn't make him chocolate salty balls, but I made him big.
I love hot honey. I'm such a sucker for that.
I was hoping that the spicy sausage and the hot honey would kind of yank some more of that stuff. You don't want hot. If you're burning your mouth with heat, you're losing everything you want. But a little spice, man, gives you a nice little bang bang.
That really, really good. Yep. I could eat your balls all day.
I'm curious to see how the little kick from the balls.
Literally and figuratively, I have two more of my balls back there for you if you really want some.
I got you.
I got two balls for you too, buddy.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Now it just tastes like a spicy beer.
I feel like the
Which I
barrel.
like.
I feel like the barrel almost pulled out more on that for me on that side. I was like, I don't know.
I feel like I got. I mean, maybe it's the first taste the barrel was just so in your face. The more food we have, the less the barrel seems to be prevalent.
Yep.
Hey, Don, let's try one of these muffins.
Tell you what, I'm making those bad boys when I go camping next time. That's stupid simple.
What's in the muffins again?
This is just a mild pork sausage, some homemade pancake batter, no mixes or anything. I put this together, some flour, sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg. Kind of dialed it all up.
It's the nutmeg that I was pulling out. I knew there was something. I just couldn't quite place it. Definitely got nutmeg on that one.
Yep.
Okay.
It definitely has an effect. The food has an effect on the beer. Every step, every food, every pairing, it's changing the beer ever so slightly.
I feel like that one made it spicier for me almost. Like I kind of felt like that.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, that's interesting. Something popped.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting after the spicy ball.
Dale's spicy balls.
That the kick factor, the spice. Like I know this isn't a spicy beer, but it seems to open up in that direction.
Right?
You would expect it to, like, as you eat other things, kind of dull and go away, but it's not. It's kind of opened up even more. So now I'm interpreting it as the barrel kind of coming back and thinking it, because I don't think anything else really sounds very spicy in this beer.
No.
But you get a whiff of it though. I don't know. It's definitely.
The beer is good. The food is great.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that, guys. I would probably say
kudos to the chef.
I'm always my biggest critic on my food, and
I think we all are.
I worry about that, It's like I really want to try it. And even when it's like something light and easy, and not like a ton of time, but you want to try to really kind of, accentuate what we're trying to pull off here. And I think it kind of worked, like each one kind of gave it a little something different. So I'm actually going a little mixture action, sausage ball cheddar action here.
It's funny you take the same beer, every taste be a little bit different, so it's like getting to drink, in this case, 4 beers?
Mm-hmm.
We got 4 different beers today, and it was a completely unique experience for us because no one else is having these exact pairings, so it's definitely a fun way to spice up a bottle share.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Plus, no one says no to good food, especially when this
No.
makes it.
Exactly. No. Dale is definitely very gifted in the kitchen.
And bedroom.
Proof 3 times.
They're definitely all his kids.
They are 100%. And like beers like this are kind of like and getting into the stouts and like the flavor profiles and differences. It always reminds me. I had this beer from Funky Buddha down in Florida, and it was one of their Christmas beers, but it had cinnamon, raisin, bunch of fun flavors, but very Christmassy. But they specifically said, separate this into 3 sections and do one chilled, do one room temperature, and do one a little warmed up. And it was such an explosion of a difference. It was amazing. I wish I could remember the name of that. That was like 10 plus years ago, but it was so good. Funky Buddha. I'm going to find that bad boy again.
That was definitely a brewery that faded a little bit, in popularity. It seemed like it was everywhere and hard to get. I just feel like it's kind of been overtaken by other breweries, but it was good whenever you get your hands on it.
Did they get bought out or something? I feel like they might have ended up under like InBev or something.
Might have. I'm not quite sure. I don't recall. I remember like kind of getting into it. They're one of the first ones to really get big with the peanut butter and jelly beers. They were real popular with that, and you could really tell. And it was like, I'm a big fan of this. And I think people started opening up with that.
I remember actually drinking one of the peanut butter and jelly beers at a local establishment that's no longer with us, unfortunately. But somebody brought that. It was delicious. So I think it was probably my first like favorite peanut butter and jelly beer. Like I've had some other ones, but this one was like, okay, this is the best one I've had.
They had some fun creative labels.
Mhm.
The beer was pretty good. I can't complain. I was always chasing down a Funky Buddha. Now it's like I think they got that what is it, Reef Shark or something they got out down there, and they got a couple other ones, but more distro. I don't see any of the other big bottles running around anymore.
No, I think they kind of went, like I said, they just kind of faded into obscurity a little bit. I mean, they're still out there, don't get me wrong, but they're not as searched for as maybe they once were. All right. Food is delicious. Beer is good.
Correct.
Why don't we look at scoring on this one?
Okay. My word.
So, to kind of recap, we look kind of at appearance, the aroma. The appearance is definitely, is dark. Is I know that's the most descriptive word. It's not completely obscured. You can still see through it. Aroma to me, it's all barrel. I don't get much of anything else.
A lot of barrel on this one.
I think it opened up a little bit. Yeah, it has like more of a sweeter aroma for me towards the end. And there might be all the sweet food I just ate. So,
well, being a maple barley wine mixed with a honey stout, you'd expect the sweetness. But to me, it's not overly sweet.
No, not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination. And I've had some that are way more barrel than this one.
Yeah,
it's like this is just a good tasting one, and
it was a good cuvee.
A very good cuvee. Good mouthfeel. Good little finish in there. I liked it all the way down to the end.
With the flavor and taste, being 58% stout, it's definitely stout heavy. You pick up more of the stout characteristics than I do the barley wine. Mouthfeel finish, it's kind of, we'll say, it's a little bit on the thin side, but
it's not going to coat.
Might just be comparing it to a lot of things we have that are a lot thicker,
Well, sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some ranges there, so yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
it's not going to be it's not going to sit in your palate for as long as like a good pastry stout, some of those things, but it just kind of just hangs. It's just good, it's like nothing overpowering. I mean,
I'll say at 14.7%. I mean, you got barrel, but it doesn't really taste like a strawberry alcohol.
Right.
It's not like a burning your throat or anything like that. So I think the overall flavor profile really was really
very smooth
together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I would say more barrel on the nose than actually in the flavor. There's really no lacing. There's really, it doesn't really cling to the glass like some of the other beers we've had. So, it's not bad in any way. It's, take it in and of itself in a vacuum. It's a quality beer. I'd probably, if I were to put this on tapped and untapped, 4.2, somewhere in that ballpark. It's for me, anything above 4, I would 100% drink again. I would go after it. So if I put it in those contexts, maybe even bring it down a little bit to 4.15, it's good. I would totally drink it again. I'm just not 100% sure I would personally chase it down.
I agree with that assessment pretty well. I think if it showed up somewhere, I'm going to be after it. If I had a choice between this and some of the other ones, this might get a little bit of a pull, but I'd be willing to experiment and eyeball a little more. It's not going to pull me away, but I'd probably go like a 4.25, 4.3, somewhere in there. I liked it. I really liked it. And I liked everything about it. I mean, the appearance is easy. I mean, that barley wine, I'm not expecting big to coat anything. The aroma, I enjoyed. It's not an overpowering barrel. Got a little bit on the back end. The flavor, I enjoyed. I got the sweetness out of the flavor on there, and it didn't wasn't anything that overpowered me. Like the food that we have, I think worked out really well because we're not looking for food to be super flavorful and like overpowering that way. So it's not pulling anything away from there. But if you had something that you're really trying to, if you're putting like a cherry pie on this bad boy, it's probably going to change the entire dynamic of that, So, but I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, for me, 4.25 is where I would end up on Untapped. It's definitely really good to me. I think it's so it's hard to say. Who's it for? Kind of is a good question. Like a lot of people don't like those super sweet stouts. They don't like those pastry stouts. And I think this is a good beer for them, even though it's a blend for like the more purist people who want the set flavors, but also not crazy in any one direction. And so like it's great because it's a good flavor, but it's not like crazy overwhelming in any one direction, which is great. So this is something I would definitely enjoy drinking if I had the
I'll tell you what, this if you had a wine drinker, and if you were really like my wife is double triple IPA girl, and she is not into these things. If I told her it's like this has a little bit of a wine feel, it's got a little barrely on there, but we do like their barrel aged blend wines too. I think she'd at least be willing to try it, and she wouldn't be as turned off by like the power and the potency of the matter. So I think this would be a good one to share with people like who are on the fence of like where they really are. If they don't have a good style or type of beer they really enjoy, like a hard stout, barrel aged, something like that, this is a good share one for them.
Nothing about this is off-putting.
Nope.
So
nope.
It's not too strong in any one direction. It's got a good enough sweetness. I mean, I would definitely drink this again. Like I said, it's scoring lower just because for me, I compare it to some of those more over the top beers. But I think I'm almost doing a disservice doing so. But yeah, it's a great beer.
I think some salty nuts would go really well with, or some salty nuts would go with my sausage balls here. So I think that would really help this out.
With the maple and honey in the description, I just expect it to be a little bit sweeter.
I was going to say that earlier. Everything about the description says sweetness, so you kind of expect a sugar, but it's not. It's more classical, traditional sweetness. It is living up to its respective styles, which is a subtle, definitely there sweetness, but also not going to get you that diabetes, which I can appreciate on occasion.
Absolutely. So, last question I'm going to throw out in regards to the Jackie O's. Was this a good pairing with what Papa Dale brought, the cheeses, the sausage balls, and these pancake muffins? I'm going to say yes, absolutely. I think you knocked it out of the park, my friend.
I appreciate that. I think by going with a range and not trying to just gamble on one thing, I think I was able to open it up a little bit. And I think we got some spice that we didn't know was coming out of there. We dialed in and pulled some more stout out of it, instead of like the barley wine barrel was like very strong to begin with. And all of a sudden, like, I feel like some stout came up, but it's like, I enjoyed it. I think I did okay.
Yeah, no, I think
being my biggest critic.
Yeah, well, everything was delicious, so it's hard to like knock anything that was good. Like but in terms of the pairing, I think if we were to do it again, like you said, salty nuts, something salty would be interesting to see with this. See how the saltness changes our kind of would be a more for contrast really flavor, and that'd been kind of interesting. And then maybe even
tell you what,
a couple raisins or something.
Some really fun, heavily seasoned ribs would probably like do some wild stuff on this. If you got some good, like I got this great honey rib rub that I put a little seasoning on there. I think that might have really kind of done some explosions in this one.
I'm always up for ribs.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still dreaming of the Texas barbecue I had.
I actually got to have Terry Black's, a friend of mine from work, brought something back, and I was like, I've heard mixed reviews. I'm like, okay, it was all right, like reheating it, is probably not the same as the same, but I mean, I don't complain or bitch about barbecue.
Ever. I will say.
Paid for it.
Well said. I will say, when it comes down to going to a local barbecue establishment or something I make in my own, I'm in no way tooting my own horn. I'm not very good at it. I just personally prefer mine. You can tailor it to your own taste, and I think that plays into it.
Humongous rule.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, Jackie O's, Cuvée 15. Very good. Very good. So we are going to move on to our second beer. Corbin, would you hand that over? We'll pass everything to the left as we put this down here for everyone to see. This is Arcane Aleworks Tooth and Nails. This is a barley wine at 12.9% in a 500 milliliter bottle with a 4.46 untapped rating. It is a creme brulee inspired barley wine aged for 20 months in Woodford Reserve bourbon barrels. So we are big barley wine folks. Barley wine is life. Absolutely always on the hunt for a good barley wine. When this one came up for sale, I was definitely, it piqued my interest. To go along with a creme brulee style barley wine, I didn't put in the effort Dale did. I just said, hey, it's a creme brulee style barley wine. Why not just go with a creme brulee? So that is what we did. As I reach in front of the camera, we have some creme brulee. As I
You picked these up at like the local Parkers, right?
Yeah, that's right. Local Parkers. The Parker's Kitchen near you is really crushing it on the creme brulee.
Creme brulee. Actually picked it up at our local fresh market. I did put the sugar on and glaze that up myself. So we will hand those out. Corbin, would you mind cracking that beer as you have the openers over there?
Yeah.
Whose openers are we using today?
We like to remind you how big of a fan we are of Hicks bottle openers. We're using our barley wine Oregon Trail one today because obviously that makes sense.
That game was so great.
Yeah. All of our childhoods are improved.
I just so small.
So I do want to say I have the greatest mule out of the Tampa area. He has just crushed it every time. Reasonable rates. And he's just, he communicates well. So everything that you see on these podcasts that we get out of the Tampa area comes from my boy. Reach out to us on social media. You can find us at Beer Necessities Podcast on Facebook or Beer Necessities Pod on Instagram. So check us out there. If you want to be hooked up with my mule, he's always taking on new clients. So reach out to us and I can put you in touch with him, and you too can be drinking amazing beers from the Tampa area. Let us pour.
Time to partake. Ooh, this one's got kind of a dark mocha going on there in that pour.
What's the caramel color?
Thank you.
It's just what you would expect from a barley wine. As Corbin said, that caramel color. No real carbonation to speak of, but just a slight hint of it, if you will.
Little Woodford Reserve bourbon barrel. I can't beat that. Nice and smooth.
I think if Corbin could have this smell in his pillow, he would sleep well every night.
Wow, this is getting better.
Wow.
I am.
How you doing over there, buddy?
I'm not ashamed of the smell. My smell noises.
It's like the first time he was introduced to, he had a crush on a young girl.
I know. Look.
I was a way more shy about that.
So again, Arcane Aleworks Tooth and Nails Barley Wine. Cheers, my friends.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you at home watching.
Love you. Switches.
Don't forget to like all of our various social medias.
Oh, yeah. Check us out on Facebook. We got some YouTube action.
I hear like our 10,000 like is going to get like a platter of ribs delivered to them by Dale. So
That could happen.
Make it happen.
Show up with a beer. We sit on the front porch. Oh, gnawing on some bones, sucking back some brews.
It's not awful.
It's not the most terrible thing I've ever had in my life.
So what are you getting on the nose?
I got a little barrel, but I also got like some of the, I don't know, I want to say raisiny barley wine standard notes, which was really nice because I don't know, it's sometimes you don't get that in the aroma. You taste it, but it doesn't always come through.
I feel like the barrel is there, but it's just such a smooth. It's like not by any stretch like obnoxious to the nose, anything like that. It's a very just. This is a totally sniffable beer.
Good fruitiness.
Now let's try it with the creme brulee. Dang you, Bill.
Here's creme brulee.
He really does.
I get it. I'm hungry.
Look at this. Look at this crustage on here. Oh
Gosh. Dirty girl. You're a dirty girl. Hope you can hear the crunch in Brookdale.
I even chew loud. Sorry.
Never change anything about yourself, Dale.
I agree.
Now with the beer.
Have to remember, go back to the beer.
No, I'm having another bite before I go to the beer.
I don't know if you're like me. I have a problem with once I start eating something. I tune out the world. I just like start eating it all. And yeah, it's hard. People are like, how do you eat so fast? I'm like, I'm very invested in it once I start.
I can't say the creme brulee has an effect on it one way or the other. I kind of thought maybe the sugar might.
I think maybe the sugar was hoping to pull something out. I think I'm getting a little sweeter out of it, but creme brulee is not going to be an explosive thing to make it. It's just that nice crunchy crisp on there, that nice crunchy crust. I don't know.
I mean, the creme brulee in and of itself is good.
We're sharing with everyone. You're welcome.
Giving the mouth a good coating of the old cream here. Really kind of letting her in there.
You might want to rephrase that.
I know what I said. Don't hate me because you ain't me.
I can't say that the flavor of the barley wine is all that reminiscent of the creme brulee itself.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I really like this barley wine, but I also, if you asked me, like, blind, what it tasted like, I would not ever say creme brulee.
No, I not put that.
That is not like something that just pops up and says, oh, this tastes like creme brulee. It tastes like a really good barley wine. Got some
maybe with a bit of vanilla.
Yeah, it's got the fruitiness. It's got like some standard stuff you would normally taste in a barley wine, and it's just a really good barley wine. It does not really taste like, burnt sugar or whatever creme brulee has in it, but
no,
that brulee literally means burnt.
Yeah.
So
now, yeah, like I just kind of I left some in my mouth while I drank it to see if like how the flavors kind of coalesced. And yeah, no, I mean, it kind of goes together fine. It tastes great together, but this isn't really a strong creme brulee flavor by itself.
This would not be my dessert pairing to put out to everybody with this mix. If I knew the beer more ahead of time, what would I do with this?
I was lazy. I mean, I'm just straight up gonna say, I mean, it's a creme brulee style barley wine. I'm gonna go with creme brulee and compare and contrast the two versus try and offer something up that's going to either, like you said, pair well or bring out different flavors. I just wanted to compare the two.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we all get to eat creme brulee.
Yeah, exactly.
Drink amazing beer. Like I say, we're not discounting the beer in any way other than the label.
In a vacuum, again, by itself, if we were sitting there just drinking this beer, we'd all be like, hey, this is a really good beer. Does it taste like creme brulee? Maybe not. But again, in and of itself, the appearance is just what you'd expect with the barley wine. That caramel color, The aroma is, like I said, a little raisin, a little bit, everything you'd expect in a barley wine.
You know what I want out of this? I want a really good Chicago style deep dish pizza with a really rich marinara. That is right where this guy belongs. That's where this guy belongs.
There is nothing wrong with that. We actually made a road trip.
Field trip.
Road trip, field trip, whatever you want to call it.
Children.
We made a trip to Richmond Hills.
Richmond Hill.
Which is down in Georgia, about an hour and 15 minutes south of us, just south of Savannah, for a deep dish pizza. And we crushed it with our boy Ricky. Ricky,
pizza.
We miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely great pizza, a wonderful trip, and you can't go wrong with deep dish.
No.
A buddy of mine, I was talking about this with Frank. We all know Frank. Frank is from New York, and Chicago deep dish to him is like calling his mother, trash.
Pure trash.
Yeah. He that's not his style.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
definitely.
you fat tub of lard. That's what people call that, deep dish.
Then you called me a deep dish.
It's technically true.
I am. Absolutely.
Most deep dishes are a big bad
And I'll tell you, everybody wants a piece of me too. So happy times, good times.
So if you haven't, take another good go whiff of this. Like the aroma actually comes through a lot more sweeter now. And you definitely get more like vanilla.
Right. And for the purists out there, we did let this sit out for a while and come up to room temperature.
I'm getting the Woodford. I don't know.
It's there, but
I think we're reaching. Am I going to say this is a bad situation? No.
Nope. So if you were to
Did you make this creme brulee?
No, I purchased this from
You did?
Fresh Market.
You get them in these nice crocks and everything?
Yes.
Really?
Yep. Comes with that.
Good. You could have sold me if you had, because I mean, this little crock, I'm like, that's adorable.
Isn't it? We use these at home, for a couple different things. But yeah, $5 at your local Fresh Market.
Really?
yeah, that's worth it just for the
crock. Yeah.
like.
You can't take it back and they'll refill it?
Probably not. They actually, I wanted to make sure. Sometimes they run out, so I wanted to make sure we had these. So I ordered them, a couple days in advance. Put the sugar on myself. Didn't actually have the torch, so I just did this under the broiler.
Oh, I like the ingenuity of the situation.
Thank you, Google, for helping me discover how to do that.
Google's the best until they take over.
So, if you were to score this beer, being a barley wine connoisseur, in case you don't know, Corbin actually has a really large hashtag barley wine is life, BIL, on his back.
Yes.
And where would you rank this?
If you remove what it's supposed to be or what they say it is, 4.5 all day. I really enjoy this. I really like this. It's a really good example of a barley wine. It's not a sugar bomb. It's got some of the traditional classical notes of an English barley wine. It's very easy to drink. Just not off-putting in any way. I like it. I love it. I drink it again. I guess I could knock off point. I could make it 4.4 based off the description, but I don't really feel the need to. It's a great beer. I don't want to discount it. It's a great beer.
Yep.
I always wonder about Corbin's rating scale. Like, he never gives a 5. He's like, to my top is like a 4.5. And all of a sudden he throws a 4.5 and I'm like, really? Wow. Okay. I really like this. Like, I would drink this like all darn day. And I think the only thing, kind of like what you said, the thing it pulls back is like, it doesn't have that creme brulee blast that I was kind of hoping for in the deal. So I would say 4.3, probably where I was at. I mean, if I'm going to do Untapped, I'd like to go off the description of what it is. I really want to feel that blast. But I mean, for barley wine by itself, like if it was just like, this is barley wine, a really good barrel-aged barley wine, probably be a 4.5. But it ain't creme brulee to me. So.
Right. Comparing to the last beer, I definitely can say I like this more than the last beer.
Sure.
Yes.
And I was expecting not to, and maybe that's why I'm a little higher, is just because Woodford Reserve is not necessarily my favorite barrel or bourbon. So I don't know. It's an off-putting note for me, so I just kind of assume bad things when people use that. And what's the other ones that are overused?
Rye for me.
Buffalo Trace. You say Buffalo Trace barrel. I'm just like, why?
Because there's enough of it out there that most breweries can get their hand on the barrels and use it.
Well, yeah, and if you get to Virginia, like everybody's into the Laird's apple brandy barrels, and like it's like, okay, well,
We like those.
we do. Some people in Virginia like it's overused. It's like, okay,
I get that. Yeah. South Carolina, we don't have a lot of options.
No.
I could just find an apple.
So for me, probably a 4.35. I'm with Corbin. I mean, I love my barley wines. English barley wines, that is. American barley wines are trash. Yes, that's a hot take. Take it for what it is. If I want hops, I'm going to drink an IPA. But 4.35 is probably right where I would put this. I would have ranked it higher to me if it was creme brulee flavored. If I was like, oh, that absolutely is reminiscent of creme brulee, but I just don't believe it is. So 4.35 for me. Was it a good pairing? I mean, other than the fact that you guys are crushing the creme brulee, especially Dale. Dale's like about to lick that thing clean.
So judged right now, feeling attacked, but I probably will. Creme brulee is something I feel like you can't mess up, like pairing with some things, because it's such an easy, like, it's just like a nice little sweet treat type deal. It's not like overpowering by any stretch. Like, you're not popping a Skittle in your mouth when you're doing these things. Do I feel it's the right pairing?
No, and it's okay.
I don't know if it brings anything extra to the table.
It doesn't. Like I said, I was lazy, and I just thought I'm going to do the two side by side. So,
dude, you brought something. That's perfect.
You literally brought something to the table.
And I'm eating it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it doesn't. I don't know that it does anything different to the beer, but I enjoy drinking and eating them together, and I wouldn't say no to doing it again.
Yep.
Hell no.
Perfect. So again, Arcane Ale Works Tooth and Nail creme brulee inspired barley wine.
It's just a label, just like people.
Exactly. But
yeah, they might saw creme brulee and said, "Hey, let's have a creme brulee inspired beer." But
how many beers have you had that were like literally like some of these Halloween beers, especially like local places, where like, oh, we're gonna put all this candy in there, and you don't taste any of it. You're like, you didn't put enough candy in it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we are gonna do our not newest, I guess. We're bringing back our beer of mystery. So if you recall, we did this in one of our previous episodes where none of us knew what the beer was. Got to be a little complicated and figuring it out. So we're going to this is kind of morph into whichever one of us brings the beer knows what it is. And we're going to rely on our compatriots, in this case, Corbin and Dale, to determine the style of the beer. You can guess the brewery if we want. You can guess at the ABV. We can guess at the Untapped ratings, and kind of do a tasting of this with no preconceived notions based on the brewery. We all have our favorite breweries, and it's like, oh, if this is from this brewery, I know I'm gonna like it. Well, you have no idea where this comes from, where this is, what kind of style it is. I think you'll have a pretty good guess once we crack this open. So let's take a journey, shall we?
Bum, bum, bum.
A beautiful sound if there ever was one.
Sounds like most of my Saturday 9 o'clock mornings.
You can say that's a different color than what we've experienced so far today.
If that's a stout, someone messed up.
Bill doesn't even know what this is now. He's like, oh shit, screwed up.
I smell.
Whoa. This is danky.
Yes.
All right. Our beer of mystery.
Often wonders what makes it, what's strange or uncanny. Are you sniffing something? Are you eating something?
And we're doing both, so
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I've never watched myself sniff something.
My wife and I, when we first moved down here, we moved in an apartment, and it was a very small apartment, but the owners put a mirrored wall in the dining room area. So we had our table up there, and it made the room look twice as big.
Mhm.
But she just thought it was so funny because I'd sit there and be like watching myself eat. It's pretty fantastic. I loved it.
Definitely hopperific.
Hopperific.
Good citrus.
Yeah. On the aroma, I was kind of like, I was thinking maybe like a pineapple almost, but I don't know that I.
Yeah, pineapple, grapefruit, kind of. You know that.
I don't know. I don't know that I taste pineapple, but like on the smell, like I get that kind of sweetness smell.
I don't know if I taste any pineapple. I was saying. I think maybe a little
Grapefruit.
grapefruit. Grapefruit would be the right one to go with. Simcoe hops.
Interesting.
It almost has a dry hop feel to it, but I also don't.
Yes.
It's just
It's kind of a dry. It is a drier one. Yeah. Man.
but definitely a fan. And I'm not really a big grapefruit person, so overall it's a nice. It's got just enough sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
The dry taste, I like that. I've said in previous episodes, a big fan.
This is pretty interesting. Bill, what are your flavor profiles without giving anything away? What do you think? Flavor wise. So what do you think?
Again, flavor wise, it's definitely a double IPA.
I think double dry hopped.
I have to admit, I don't recall. I left my phone in the green room, so I can't even look it up to tell. So why don't you unlock your phone for me, and hide your sexy photos. I said hide them. Come on, man.
Wow.
They're all I have.
I didn't know you had like clothes in your bedroom. Damn.
Who doesn't? They're in the back of the car right now too.
So I'm gonna let you run with this for just a minute while I look this up.
It's good. I like it. It's not too bitter. Very easy. Probably like a 8.5 or 6%.
Okay.
I was going 7.2.
8.5%.
7.2.
This is an 8.4%. Corbin. Wow.
That's right.
If we had awards.
Exactly. What do you say the hops were?
Simcoe?
Nope.
Is it citric?
Nope. This is a double IPA with Mosaic, and I'm going to butcher this. Is it a Zaka?
Okay. New Zealand,
Okay.
I think. Sounds good.
This one has pungent aromas of stone fruit and tangerine zest
Tangerine.
with flavors of pine,
The pine is there for
Yep.
sure.
berry, and fresh citrus.
The pine is what, like, I was like, boom, dank. I'm like,
I got the pineapple. Yeah.
interesting.
No, that makes sense. The stone, especially stone fruit, gives that.
Is this from Texas?
It is not because I brought this beer. Not that matters, but no, I didn't bring anything back from my Texas trip. All right, so Corbin gets the point for ABV. No points awarded for the hops.
We're not there yet. We're trying to improve our skills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to guess what the everyone rating is on Untapped?
Untapped is so much different than so.
It's so hard with IPAs too.
Yeah.
That IPA.
I'm going 4.44.
Okay.
going to go back in the 4.3s.
Okay. Anyone want to bid $1? $1. It's actually 4.16.
Oh,
wow.
Which I'm kind of surprised. I personally like this beer a lot more than that.
More drinking, especially smell the glass, like kind of like sweet scent.
So knowing it's a 4.16, Corbin, where would you be ranking this at?
I would personally give this at least a 4.25 on Untapped. Honestly, if I had a premium Untapped subscription, I would have no problem in the 4.3 range.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely not go above 4.4. Because I rarely do for IPAs, and it's not that I don't like IPAs. It's just
He hates IPAs.
you can tell that I hate.
he's a hater. Hater.
No, I just feel like you could do a lot more. And while this is a great, delicious beer that I will happily drink again, I love this on draft. Would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's like anything like super exceptional. Like it's not like you're not gonna go to California and make a special trip to Russian River for this. But it's very good. It's definitely above average and definitely deserving of at least a 4.25 and probably in the 4.3s if you want to get really technical.
Dale?
441.
4.
4 to 41. That's where I'm at.
I'm sorry, a 4 to 4.1?
Yep.
So 4.1?
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad you caught up with that.
well, I just want to make sure I understood.
No, I don't know. I'm just like, it's good.
Mhm.
I like it. Is this one of the best IPAs I've had? Is it like above a lot of the others? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe if I kind of had read it and knew what I'm getting into, sometimes if you know a little bit more, like the pine is like can be a lot sometimes. And this thing, I opened it up and I was like, bam! I'm like, that someone dropped some pine sol on this bad boy. And it's like, I don't know. I think I would go with that 441 or 4 to 4.1, right around in that range. That's quite a bit. My wife, I think she'd be at a 415, 4.2. And she's a hophead.
Yep. Any guesses as to the brewery? I know that's like,
Yeah, needle in a haystack.
exactly.
Commonwealth. I know it's definitely not that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using insider information because I know you had to get this locally. I don't think it's from a local brewery.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking of people that make IPAs at this level, I could see Bale making this. They have a lot of good stuff that are getting distroed to the area right now. I could definitely see that. Outside of that,
Well, you were
Equilibrium.
There you go. It's a good guess. You were right. I did pick this up locally. Went yesterday to a store here on Hilton Head Island, Rollers. Rollers has the best beer selection here on the island. My boy there, Drew, helped hook us up a little bit. If you're on Hilton Head, definitely check out Rollers.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually brewed locally ish
Oh, okay.
in the Carolinas. This is Blurred Way Up
From Heist.
from Heist Brewery.
As soon as you see the label, you can tell, like, oh, that's a Heist can right there. Should have thrown that in the mix. I'm like, he's wearing a shirt.
It's almost like somebody planned this.
Definitely that guy. I've been too busy to plan it.
We need to save that picture. That was a good picture of you right there when you saw that.
I love Heist again. It was one of my favorite breweries in Charlotte when we were there. And Blurred Way Up was a really good beer.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite what I remember it from years ago, but definitely for me 4.3, 4.25, 4.3 in that ballpark. It's a little piney. Those West Coast IPA fans would, this is definitely more in your wheelhouse than say, the hazy East Coast fans. But again, a great beer nonetheless. So, as we wrap up this episode, we kind of end with something we like to call my current necessity. I watch way too much television. Way too much television. I have for years. But you're going to probably catch me talk about TV more often than anything else. For me, my current necessity, it's called Welcome to Wrexham. Wrexham is, for anyone who's not familiar with the story, Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fame convinced Ryan Reynolds to join forces and purchase a football club out of Wales, the Wrexham Red Dragons. This docuseries follows the club's journey as they strive to rise from the depths of the English Football League and into the spotlight that is the Premier League. In a way, the show is sort of like Ted Lasso meets Hard Knocks. It captures some of the heart of Ted Lasso and the kind of look behind the curtains that makes Hard Knocks so compelling. Now in its third season, the show continues to be less about Ryan and Rob's ownership of the team and more about the team and how the team is such a huge part of the identity of the city of Wrexham. Welcome to Wrexham's biggest success has been cleverly interweaving the club's on-the-field fortunes with the emotions of the devoted supporters. The show's the creators are done a masterful job of discovering beautiful stories from around the city. A prime example of this is in season 3 with the story of a man by the name of Oliver Stevens. Oliver is a photographer, and he battles mental health issues with a kind of toughness and grace that can really bring a tear to your eye. He takes pictures from outside the stadium on match days, but he's never attended a match because of his discomfort with large crowds and loud noises. As a father with a daughter with autism who struggles with both of these things, I definitely related to Oliver's story. However, he's really woven himself into the fabric of the club, and the club has woven itself into him. He counts himself as a fan because he knows that the bleak city of Wrexham has saved his life, and the club is an integral part of that. What's amazing to me is, even though I know the outcome of the Dragon season, every episode still has me enthralled. Welcome to Wrexham has a 94% rating on Rotten Tomatoes with an audience score of 87%. Seasons 1 through 3 are now currently streaming on FX, on Hulu, on Disney, and FX has greenlit this for a 4th season. So my current necessity, Welcome to Wrexham. Great show, absolutely love it. If it was classified as a man crush, Ryan Reynolds is definitely that guy. My wife and I did, on couples nights, we ask each other's questions, and that's one of those couples that I would absolutely love to hang out with. I think that would be hysterical.
We've all had a conversation about Ryan Reynolds.
We've had some very interesting.
Like you got a wig, you role play some Ryan Reynolds. You're like, hey Blake, yeah, girl, you like that? Yeah.
Mr. Reynolds, I apologize. You do not sound like that.
Yes, you do. And I like you. You're one of the people I would have a beer with. I've got a beer list, people I would sit down and have a beer with. You've made it. Your wife, I'd have a beer with her too. Just to
I'm pretty sure
enjoy the
Ryan
conversation.
Reynolds is one of those people you probably can't offend. I don't know.
That's the point. It's like you can have those random conversations like, hey, how you doing today? Good. I took a massive shit. Oh, well, that's awesome. How'd that go? Well, I had this, some spicy food, did this and that. It's great. It's a good conversation, but you don't know where it's going to come from. It's like, I'm good with that stuff, So shout out to you, Mr. Reynolds. Quality work.
Absolutely. So for all of us, here at the Beer Necessities, we enjoy drinking great beer, such as Cuvée 15 from Jackie O's, to the Tooth and Nails from Arcane, and Blurred Way Up from my friends at Heist. We really appreciate you joining us. We look forward to seeing you again. I'm Bill Pratt.
Corbin Atkinson.
Diesel Dale Hansen.
Thank you for joining us. Hope you can all enjoy some good beers. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye.
Look for the beer necessities, the simple beer necessities. Get about your worries and that strife. I mean those beer necessities, these tasty, fun recipes. Keep these beer necessities in my life. Sometimes I wonder, when I'm at home, of all the brews that I've owned, the beers are chillin', I can see, making happy time just for me. When you look into that fridge by chance, just take a glance at the variants and maybe pop a few. The beer necessities of life will come to you. This beer's for you.